Another thing I want to ask you are some interview do's and don'ts.
I feel alright. So
Depending on the job you're going for.
Depending on the job and levels, right? So the last job interview I did,
What was your first interview like?
My first job interview was at Yellow.
Wait, that's the only job interview?
That's the only job interview.
That's really good, actually.
No. I've done other job interviews before, but my very first job interview was with Yellow, I mean, let me not use Yellow because we didn't kind of know them from before. So there's a job interview I did with another reputable company, and for me, because I knew what I was at that point, I kind of already started like a brand for myself. So you're going to take me as I am. You know,
this is what I'm talking about.
This is
That's
what
what we're talking about, separating business
from personal. So this is me. I'm an eccentric individual, so I'm not going to come to the job interview in no socks and gentleman shoes. I'm going to come in my white sneakers and my sweater, my
especially
shirt,
that's a job that you
and my stylish pants, because that's just me. So, but not a lot of people get that escape because you have to reach a certain level
and you have to sell it to
and you have to sell it as well. So you have to work on your own brand positioning before you can do something like that. So I'm not recommend that to everybody. Some places are very traditional. The more you come in at the stocking, the more you come in at the long sleeve shirts and things. But I could have done
as it's a stocking. I remember talking to Natalie asking if she wears stockings.
You know what I mean? So obviously you're going to a job interview, and this is something that young people shy away from asking for salary. What's my salary?
Yeah, that's always I think I was putting your shirt on.
Yeah, you have to know.
I don't know.
You have to know what you're doing. So my first job interview that was not Yellow had all of those elements. You research the company before you go there for an interview. You find out what's going on. You know, it was an interview for a foundation, and I knew the markets that the foundation operated in. I knew what the mantra was, and I left a really good impression on them because of the additional research that I did, and I was also myself in the interview. You know, I was able to speak to the metrics that I was able to change around at Yellow. Doing social, I was able to talk about digital, I was able to talk about advertising value, I was able to talk about so many other different things that I would have prepared myself for. And I left a lasting impact on them, and you know, they call me back, an offer was made, but just, again, because it come back up to salary, it just wasn't my fit for me, you know what I mean? And you have to know that you are valuable. And it doesn't make any sense about going on my interview and you don't say don't value and put certain things on content, because I've interviewed interns before for roles, and you have say no Google Analytics, and you come in, but obviously if you know Google Analytics, you know Google Analytics, that doesn't make sense. So you also have to be truthful because it's going to come out. You also have to ensure that you have your footprints, certain digital footprints that you have is going to come up in an interview. When I went to the interview, I did an interview in 2012 when I was head boy at KC, and I had Donald Trump as one of my role models, right? That was 2012. And I admired Trump because of the work that he was able to build. The fact that he was running, you know, hotel and the Miss Universe organization and stuff like that, and whatever. The books they remember and man.
Before all.
And I had Donald Trump as one of my role models. And the interview that I went into years later, the brand and comms manager asked me, okay, so I said that Donald Trump is one of your role models. I was prepared for that because I knew that that interview that I did years ago was online. So then I was score and find his socials and find everything. And I had to be like, well, the guy's a PR genius. So from that standpoint, we kind of still admire that. Whether it's a mess or not, that's for you to take. I think he's a PR genius and whatever. That could have killed me. You know, that could have killed me in that interview. And she actually agreed with me as well. So you have to stand your ground as well. You have to be prepared and understand that certain content that's out there, hiring managers are also scouring the internet and finding things about you that you have to be prepared to answer. You know what I mean? So you also have to be careful about the brand that you create.
And the things that we post on social media too. Some things that we take for joke, people are looking at these things and telling.
Yep. So there's a lot that goes into this hiring process and making yourself marketable. And it's important that you don't look past some critical elements. Some people just feel like say hiring and marketing yourself is just putting together your resume. Be creative. If you're going for a role that's very creative, why don't send in your resume as a video? You know what I mean? Why don't send your resume?
And sometimes they give you them say, yo, be creative, and you're sending the old time resume like that.
It's supposed to reflect you. Nobody else sometimes, and I mean, you know, it's kind of two way as well, because sometimes you're really be sending out these applications and you know you're working hard and thing, and sometimes the jobs are advertised. Let me get an insight about.
And they already have a person.
They already have a person. But how do you top that? Do you send a file in a something to the physically drop it off to the company? Because I mean, them sift through hundreds of emails daily. How do you stand out? You know what I mean?
True.
How do you make them consider you and then say, yo, you know that person really tried?
You went all out. Even if you're not give that job, you
might have something. So you have to figure that out. And not all the time you have somebody in place. Sometimes they're really hiring for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really up to how you position yourself, what results you're able to speak to, and actually make that work.
That's a lot. It's a mouthful. Have you ever had any bad interviews?
It's becoming I think I told you I've interviews in my life. I have not had a bad experience before. I remember doing the second one that I did for another good organization in Jamaica. Happy I never got that one. I never got to ask too much money. But that one was good. That one was the two interviews I've done, besides where I'm working currently, they were really good interviews. I'm not going to lie. And I think it's because of the command that I had when I walked into that interview.
So
you know, and I and I recommend everybody to have your own level of command.
Yeah, sometimes you go in.
Yeah, you can. No, you have to own the space. You have to own the room.
And as you said, touching back on the salary thing, how do you think, or what is the gauge when you're saying, when people ask you how much you
want?
Yeah,
it depends again on the industry that you're going in, and it depends on your worth. So for me, when I just started working, I'm gonna share with anybody how much money. When I just started working, I was earning over $3 million in my first job, right? And that was like a major shock to a lot of people because my colleague, that was my corona just keep. There was a salary cut and people But a lot of people, I never knew how to communicate that to my colleagues, because my colleagues were clocking like 1 mil out of just university and whatever. But you know why I was able to get that? It's because I was putting the work from the
last time.
You know what I mean? So for me, and we try encourage everybody to just plot your way properly. That I can only give you advice from my experience. You have to plot properly, guys. You have to.
What do you think about vision boarding?
But I hear it's good and I hear it's helpful. Me know my vision board in my brain. But me hear
for some people they need to see like physical.
If that works,
everybody.
You got a vision board, Andre? Me can't deal with the excitement. So me know what I do that vision board. Me just know what I want and me just work towards it. But me that part that time I say shit. Oh sorry. That's damn. You know how me and then I like to the point where we actually stop discussing my salary. You know what I mean? But I mean a good starting point we're having a conversation on Twitter the other day, and a lot of persons were saying that a good starting point for a salary if you're just leaving university is take home 150. Take home 150 right now is a gold mine. And somehow we really don't have 150 value. I'm going to be honest. You know what I mean? So you have to know what you come with. You have some jobs out there that are paying as cheap as 40 grand a month. I'm telling you, you have some jobs that are paying as high as 300,000, 400,000 a month. Whether some companies have the money and they can hire for that, some companies don't. What's more important is the value that you can bring and the research that you can do. You have to research, you have to figure it out, you have to maneuver a way so that whatever it is that you're asking for, so you max out, or if you have a parent or whatever, if you have a parent and you have to do this and you have to do that, you know, you get 100 grand, that kind of steep, you know what I mean? But honestly, where the salary conversation is concerned, what I had to do was to just ensure that I consistently built a brand for myself. I drove results so that when we are going on one job, we can earn something we can want it to be. You know what I mean? I was earning more than a lot of managers that I knew that were in the game from before and stuff. And may I say, then I was reminded that Joel, you started out in this thing from before. You were diligent. You had the results to show, and it's just good that you align yourself with a good brand that see the value and we're willing to actually pay that. You know, so not everybody will have that, as I said before, but you just have to make sure you create your own little brand value. So that somebody can look by you and say, oh, you're fresh out of college? Alright, so I'm 2 million. That's earning 2 million after college is actually really good.
That's good.
That's really good, you know. So you have to figure it out, especially when you have the benefits and stuff like that. But you just have to figure it out. You just have a billion.
I know your value.
You just have a billion rand know your value. So in the company behind me right now, I've some 7 million so honestly. You don't know when the next wave of corona come.
Hey,
You want me to say when they cut that 25% or 50%, you're gonna
You got to yeah.
So you have to know your value. You have to know your value, and you have to work towards that, and you have to in all of this as well build your personal streams of income.
And network too.
And that becomes a big salary when tax come out of that, it kind of shaky.
So what are your final thoughts on everything that we've said? Like in a couple sentences or 2 sentences, what are your thoughts on putting yourself out there and getting hired?
I just think it's important for young people to do better. You know,
Rise up.
Yeah, some that are charting a good way, but we have a lot more who are kind of faltering behind. And I just want to encourage everybody to chart your own journey, define your own goals, define your own objectives, figure out your own strategy, build your professional self, join LinkedIn. Trust me, I won't spend too much time on the other social. LinkedIn is such an important platform that really helps to, you know, build your professional self a little bit more, connect and network with really good people in the industry. Build your own brand value so that you can negotiate properly. Build your own results, and that's it.
Because negotiating means you have to have something to offer.
You have to have something to offer. You can't come to me and tell me say you want $5 million and you can't show me
$5 million worth.
No. So that is important though. A lot of people get distracted with what other people achieve. Just figure out your own journey and work towards that. Stop watch other people and stop watch this metrics thing on social media and who are the X and who are the Y. Work by your own time.
Amazing. Alright, I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you guys for watching part 2 of Hire Me. So this is episode 9 now. Well, probably still 8. Yeah. Alright, so I want to thank you. Have an excellent day. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on social media. Follow Joel on social media. And check out his new website.
Yes, corpexcentric.me. I couldn't do the .com, sorry.
Yeah,
.com and
that's me.
.org.
That's a vibe.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you very much for joining.